Man, how was your fourth, man? Welcome back. Holiday off. How was it?
It was cool. I really don't celebrate the 4th of July, but,
Oh, of course. That's why I said how was your holiday off. I didn't say Happy Independence Day. I said how was your day off.
Nah, it was cool, yeah. Relaxing. Relaxing, right, relaxing. Anytime you get a holiday off, it's cool.
Yeah, that's really what it was. I don't give a shit about Independence Day. Just the idea that, it's off. But yeah, for me, it was a reminder of where I was at. I forgot what July 4th it was when LeBron, I think it was signed with the Lakers. A lot of free agent signings have been very wild in years past. So let's have a what if discussion. What trade or free agent signing in the history of the National Basketball Association do you wish could have been different or actually happened? So like a Kobe trade, a Chris Paul trade to the Lakers back in the day when he could have played with Kobe, or LeBron staying with Cleveland instead of going to South Beach, or
I'm definitely not gonna say that one. Miami, of course, D-Wade. Like, what are you talking about?
Or Kevin Durant deciding to stay in OKC, or James Harden staying with the Rockets. Hell, James Harden staying with OKC.
Yeah.
What's an offseason?
Shaq not getting traded to Miami. Like,
Shaq not getting traded to Miami? Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. If you're a Lakers fan, like, who knows? If they could have mended that relationship, that could have been more championships with the duo of Kobe and Shaq. But I don't know. I really feel like all the ones that happened, I kind of liked, honestly. If you really look back at it, it's just kind of like, for it's like the guys picking and choosing where they can go. Like, for it's like free agency, I feel like if you're a free agent, you can, it's your choice at the end of the day. You fulfill your obligations for your contract. So I never had a problem with like Kevin Durant really going to the Golden State Warriors, or really when LeBron James went to South Beach, because at the end of the day, I mean, some people may not have liked it for it's like a pure quality of basketball standpoint, especially with Kevin Durant and the Warriors, because we kind of knew like, oh, shit, like the Warriors are probably about to win the championship for the tenure of Kevin Durant's run with the Warriors. But like, when these guys are free agents, they have that choice to pick who they want to go to. So I haven't really a problem with the free agents. For it's like the trade scenario, I would say Chris Paul with Kobe Bryant, and not that necessarily not happening. That's probably the biggest one that everybody kind of like talks about, like the what if, like, and we seen like Chris Paul be paired with a elite shooting guards in the past, like a Devin Booker and right now James Harden. So just imagine if he had the ultimate shooting guard, the best shooting guard ever to some people's eyes, and Kobe being Bryant. That would have been phenomenal, especially with Chris Paul in his prime too. Like, that would have been probably unstoppable. So that's like the biggest like what if I can think about.
Yeah, for me, I think there's a Tim Duncan one. I'm gonna go a little old school, where like he could have been on the Magic, and obviously he ended up staying with San Antonio. But you think about what could have happened if he teamed up, with those guys down, with in Orlando, and obviously with Tim Duncan being the greatest power forward of all time. That only happened because of his, career in San Antonio. But who's to say that could have happened in Orlando? Another old school name I'll throw out is AI. Not necessarily what if he himself was traded, but what if he had at least one other superstar?
Yeah,
just one.
T-Mac was supposed to go there too. Like, it was rumors with T-Mac going to Philly and stuff. Like, just imagine Allen Iverson and Tracy McGrady on the same team.
Let's talk about that. You think that would work? Do you think a lineup featuring Tracy McGrady and Allen Iverson would have worked? How many championships together would they have won if Tracy McGrady and Allen Iverson were have teamed up together? That is a lot of buckets.
At least that
is a lot of buckets.
At least one. I saw Allen Iverson take a team to the championship. I don't want to slight these guys, but damn near by himself, honestly. So if you pair him with Tracy McGrady, at least one. At the bare minimum, at least one.
AI would have looking at T-Mac like, wow.
At least one.
Thank you, my brother.
Find some help. It is crazy.
You, my brother.
And that's so funny because everybody talks about like Allen Iverson in the field goal percentages of his career or whatever. I think it was like 41% from the field for his career. People don't understand how hard defense was back in the day. Like, they don't understand, like, yo, the type of era compared to like right now compared to back in the day. That's what people talk about. Like, when Kobe was averaging like 34, 35, like it was really like something because like shit, teams were scoring like barely 100 points. So you dropping that many that buckets and stuff like that in the non-spacing era, it's like it's a little bit different compared to guys that like dropping all these buckets right now where everything is spaced out and everything's analytics and threes and layups and stuff like that. So,
and also too, I mean, you kind of hinted at the physicality of the game, but Allen Iverson was a smaller player, right? So if the rules have changed in his favor nowadays, just imagine, right? What would, because I mean, I feel like I won't say it's always been a wings league, but if we're gonna sit here and say that it's a wings league as well for T-Mac, so now T-Mac is in a more of a wings era, right? And at the same time, Allen Iverson is more of in an era where you can't really hand check or like some of the calls are in favor of smaller players. So that two-way punch probably would have been a little wacky. And hell, who knows? We could have been making the claim that would have been, you know what I'm saying, one of the greatest duels of all time. But again, this season has taught us, you never know what can happen
one
until you actually play.
Another one, I know you probably don't give a shit about this one, but like Boston fans, like what if Paul Pierce got Kevin Garnett earlier in his career or got some help earlier as well? Because remember, like Paul Pierce was dominating and going to work and he was on that top, we talk about like dropping 28 points and 27 points like for a season with the top shooting guards in the league. He was on that list too as well, but it's just like he really didn't have the help that he kind of deserved for most of his career as well. So you pair Paul Pierce with a Kevin Garnett earlier or another superstar earlier on in his career, who knows what could have happened with Boston, for us like playoff success and possibly NBA final success.
Yeah, and I would say KG specifically too, just the idea. Because I mean, Paul Pierce's loyalty was, I don't say I understood it or I agree with it, but I mean, between
Paul Pierce
him
or Kevin Garnett.
Paul Pierce. But I mean, it was like, okay, you look at it, it's like, okay, your team really, really isn't active. You feel me? But with KG, even though his team may have been a little bit better, you still wanted what was best for KG and wanted him to leave probably earlier than sooner rather than he actually did. Even though his team had a little bit more playoff success. But yeah, what would have happened if KG left a little earlier or Ray left a little earlier and they teamed up, sooner? Who knows? I mean, they did only get one chip. I mean, I know they made it to multiple finals, but still, I mean, anytime you got a core of 3 Hall of Famers like that, and to see them go, and that's nothing too, to see them go as far as they did, as quickly as they did, right? Mm-hmm. And really winning that championship. It's interesting though.
For sure. Also, another player like Ray Allen, like Ray was cold. Like Ray didn't have no running mates really either. So it's just kind of like, that's why people always talk about like, what team is Ray like going to have his jersey retired? Like what team is like, when we talk about Ray Allen, what team do we consider? Because he played on Milwaukee, then the Sonics and stuff like that. So it's like, what team do you really consider like Ray Allen's like true, like, like LeBron with the Cavs, D-Wade with Miami Heat. Like it's certain players that have like,
Yeah, but I think Ray's career is so spread out.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part. Like there wasn't like one team where he was like, okay, he was way, way better here than, those other teams outside of, Miami. That was, more so the tail end of his career. But I think Milwaukee, Seattle, Boston, he got the chip with Boston as well as Miami, but I think his more of a prime, I guess if you'll say, was with Seattle and even Milwaukee. But I mean, he's an Hall of Fame. Oh, he'll be a Hall of Famer. So that's
it's crazy though. But he was cold though, and he was another player that really didn't have like
of course
the hope that he deserved.
Another one is the Lakers. That whole roster of was it Steve, Kobe, Dwight, Paul, and my thing is, what would have happened if they had that roster 4 years? It's funny now that I think about it out loud. The Lakers have a history of having great rosters if they were to teamed up like 3 years prior.
Yeah,
you ever think about that? Like that team of Gary Payton, Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone.
They made it to the finals. They made it to the finals.
Though, of course, but okay, they made it to the finals. But can you imagine? Excuse me, if they had teamed up like years before that, that team of again, Steve Nash, Kobe, Paul Gasol, Dwight Howard. Can you imagine if they had teamed up years prior? Hell, even now, the team they have now, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony. Can you imagine that team had teamed up years ago? So it's almost just left like, Lakers just be missing the boat, just. But it's all good though. I mean, the timing of it.
Speaking of the Los Angeles Lakers, like what do you feel like needs to be done? Like it's been rumors going on with Kyrie possibly ended up being a Laker. It's been rumors that the Lakers don't want to give out draft picks and compensation, for the future and stuff like that because they're worried about the whole luxury tax and possibly having to pay Kyrie. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. Like that's even a consideration. When you're the greatest franchise in NBA history, it's just like I don't.
All right, Lakers. There's a lot of teams out here that I understand why they may be a little cheap, but come on, that's some tells me they're not struggling for dollars out in Los Angeles, and also too it amazes me what teams that are currently struggling say what they won't do in order to get better. That always makes me laugh.
Yeah,
right, like. I hear so many Knicks fans talking about, we don't want so-and-so. We don't want him. I hear so many other, random non-playoff teams say like, oh, he's not good enough for our franchise. And now we got the Lakers who didn't even make the damn play-in tournament talking about, oh, we don't want him or, we're good. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Are we fresh off winning a championship? Did we go out there and win 60 games that I don't know about?
Yeah.
Did we have a great season? Like now if the Warriors were like, you know what? Now if the Warriors said they don't want to trade for Kevin Durant, I would get that. I don't agree, but hey, y'all just won a chip. So y'all, feel me? Y'all can say that. Y'all can sit here and play the card of, hey, our chemistry is straight. We don't want to make any changes. Cool.
Yeah.
Y'all have earned that statement. The Lakers, what is, why in the world would we be sitting here trying to deny, a basketball player who is an NBA champion, right? And who we know brings to the table. We haven't earned that right.
And also historically is LeBron James' best running mate for his play style wise and complimentary wise. What really is the argument? I really don't understand it either. And then what bothers me is that you got people that talks about, oh, why would they want to gut their whole team and their future and this and that and take a chance on this and that. I'm just like, the Lakers have been synonymous with winning championships. And they've never been a team, if you look back historically, let's say, you know what? We're gonna really draft and develop. I mean, they got Magic that one year, but it's just they also had Kareem on the team. You know what I'm saying? They had Worthy coming. It's just what's the real issue?
That has kind of changed. I feel like in the past decade, I would say the Lakers have drafted young guys when it comes.
That's because nobody would come there. That's because nobody would come there.
And that's also because we were trash. I think that's more of what it was.
And my thing about it is just I saw Kobe Bryant's latter years and how they did Kobe Bryant. And it was just kind of Kobe, they paid Kobe his money and stuff like that. But it was nasty, some of the teams that he was on. And it's just kind of what is the alternative? Because to me, I'd look at the situation where I feel like they want LeBron James to sign a contract extension. They want him to sign a contract extension for 2 more years and then kind of want to pull the deal. But he doesn't really want to do that because he want to leave his option open. And it's just why would he trust y'all to build in his decline? It's crazy to keep talking about in his decline. And LeBron James is in year 20. He's still arguing. He's still a top 5 player in the world. So we don't know. It's just why would he do that? Especially when I saw, and most people saw, when Kobe Bryant did that, and they were able to not help Kobe Bryant out. So it's just you got to kind of show. I think LeBron James has proven enough with the Los Angeles Lakers. I showed you what I'm about. We won a championship. Just get it done.
But I can't completely agree with that because if you were to look at Kobe's roster and ask yourself, could this team win a championship the way it's constructed currently? The answer would be not only no, but hell no.
This roster, go ahead.
But no. See, looking at the roster, on paper, could you sit here and say that Kobe's teams could have won a championship? The answer collectively would have been absolutely not, and everyone understood that. So going into his final years as an NBA player, it's all right. That this is more going to be about, all right, let's just enjoy the farewell tour. We're probably not going to chip, so let's just enjoy it. But when you look at the roster that LeBron James has right now, even though they didn't make the play-in tournament, you should think to yourself, okay, y'all should be able to at least compete, right? And if we can't sit here and say that.
Is that what the Lakers are going for now? Competing?
But what are the
Lakers about, though?
But it shouldn't be, because my thing is, all right, if you're going to say that LeBron James is a top 5 player, and if he feels that he's a top 5 player in the world, and we're giving you Anthony Davis, and you have Russell Westbrook and all that, I'm not sitting here saying that y'all should be the favorites, but at the same time, what more should you be asking for?
But let me ask you something. So what's the alternative? If you don't make this move, and then you do compete. You can compete and get to the playoffs. You know, everything goes right fine. You're not winning a championship with this roster construction. You're just not.
But okay, cool. But whose fault is that?
What do you mean? Whose fault is it?
If the Lakers do not win the championship this year, whose fault is it?
You can't bring the same rosters back that didn't make the playoffs and then don't do anything to get better. And it's just like there's several teams that's better than the Los Angeles Lakers. So
Here's why I don't agree with that, because part of your main point as to why it quote unquote didn't work out has been because they just haven't played that much together. Even though the roster, so it's
structure wise, it's also like they didn't play together. Structure wise, they didn't do anything for like an offensive philosophy and stuff like that. Now they got a new head coach coming in.
Exactly.
So maybe he changes that and stuff like that. But my thing about it is just like, that's a big like, it's like, damn, like you didn't even make the play-in tournament. It's just like, I don't know. It's hard for me to get on board with that, especially when you got your superstar, your best player in his last year of his contract. You should do everything to want to make him happy. And if Kyrie Irving wants to come on and be a part and play with LeBron James, you might want to get it done because, like, that increases your odds of, signing LeBron James for 2 more years. So it's just like, if you want to play this game, go ahead, Lakers. You can play the game, because then what happens is, let me tell you something. What happens if you go into this season and they compete and they make the playoffs, but that's not good enough, of course, for most Lakers fans, and not good enough probably to LeBron James himself, because he wants to compete for championships,
Absolutely.
Right? So let's say he leaves. Then Russell Westbrook leaves. So now you have Anthony Davis. So it's just like, instead of having probably a possible core of Anthony Davis, Kyrie, even if LeBron James leaves or declines or whatever the case may be, I would feel more comfortable if I'm a Lakers fan having a core of Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving than just having a core of Anthony Davis. So it's just like, you got to ask yourself, like, what would you rather do? Would you rather have Kyrie for the long term and Anthony Davis, even if LeBron James leaves? Or would you rather have just say, oh, Anthony Davis? And then what really happens. Oh, if they just have Anthony Davis, the rebuild is coming. Because the rebuild is coming. So you're back in square one. So
see, then too, because earlier we mentioned the draft picks. That may be a part of the reason why they don't want to, make the trade or whatever. But so if you're saying that the rebuild is coming, that's even more of a reason why they may want.
I said the rebuild is coming if Anthony Davis is only there. And you talking about holding draft picks, but the rebuild is coming if Anthony Davis is there, because Anthony Davis is probably going to be out of there. Like, you're not building a team around Anthony Davis. I hate to say it, you're just not. So it's just like, especially if no LeBron,
you don't think so?
It's no Kyrie. It's just like, the Lakers won't just build a team around Anthony Davis. Like, they struggle to get superstars to come play with Kobe Bryant. This is Kobe. Like, it's not going to be a lot of superstars to say, we just want to come play with Anthony Davis. Even as Anthony Davis, talent-wise, is, arguably top 5. He has the potential to be the best player in the world if he puts everything together.
But why not? Why do you feel that way, though? Why do you feel like there wouldn't be a line at the door to play with AD in Los Angeles?
Health-wise, that's one. Number 2,
fair enough. I'm not even, there's no debate. I said fair enough. Very fair.
Health-wise, number 1. Number 2, it's just kind of like, as much as I love Anthony Davis, the last time we see Anthony Davis as the number 1 option was with the New Orleans Pelicans. And, he had some talent around him. Like, I know the New Orleans Pelicans was, bad, like, organizational-wise, but he still had some talent around him where, like, you can at least compete to get to the playoffs. He should have been in the playoffs a little bit more than he was. So I'm just saying, I'm looking at that. It's just kind of like, is Anthony Davis really a truly number 1 option? That's the question that's been asked, like, a lot of times. Like, that's the biggest difference when people talk about in the past with Giannis and Anthony Davis. Is Anthony Davis really a truly number 1 option for us, like, health-wise, for us, like, motor-wise, for us, like, run the team and, like, here is your team. We take us home, take us to the playoffs, take us to the promised land. I don't really know.
Okay, so you know what? That's a perfect segue, because I want to ask this. Is my cap or no cap? Cap or no cap, Anthony Davis can be a number 1 option on a championship team right now in today's NBA.
No, not right now, because I haven't. No, not right now. Not right now. And it's crazy because I've seen him do it when it matters the most in the playoffs and in the NBA Finals. But as of right now, no. We're talking about right now, no. I've seen him do it because, like I said, 2020 NBA playoffs, I will argue people down that, my eyes told me Anthony Davis was the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers team. That was my eyes was telling me, like, during that playoff run. I'm not going to say the finals, but the playoff run, Anthony Davis was phenomenal in the bubble, But, like, for like right now being the number one option going into this upcoming season, regardless of what happens, if anything happens, if they have that roster intact, if it's Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, LeBron's still got to be the number one guy, which is unfortunate because he's in year 20.
But see, the flip-flop is so crazy. I don't want to hear anything about it's unfortunate because he's in year 20. It's either he's a top 5 player.
What does that mean, though?
Or because I'm saying it shouldn't be unfortunate.
It shouldn't be unfortunate.
On the back.
In year 20, this guy's played 20 seasons in the NBA. He still has to be the number one option. It has to hold the mantle of carrying the weight in the regular season and playoffs. That's not an ideal situation. That's not what LeBron James signed on to play with the Los Angeles Lakers. It doesn't take away that he's a top 5 talent or top 5 player or arguably top 3 player, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Every time he steps on the basketball court, it's like history. That's just the truth. And so it's not really it's unfortunate because
so that's nothing too.
That's crazy to think about.
Ideally for the Lakers, do you think it would be better if, let's say, if Anthony Davis really stepped up to the plate and had him an MVP season? Do you think it would be better for the Lakers if Anthony Davis turned into a legitimate MVP candidate, number one option, top 3 player in the league? You think that'd be better for them? Okay.
Hell yeah. And it's a reason why LeBron wants Kyrie there too. Because Kyrie, we know what Kyrie's about. Kyrie, just book it in. 28, 4-4. Like, you can book it in. Check it off. Like, it's so much easier just to have a player where you know that, like, offensively, that it's just like, he can just carry the mantle when, like, here, Kyrie, just go. And we seen LeBron James let Kyrie carry the mantle in the finals and hit one of the clutches like, yo, I trust you, just go. So it's just like Russell Westbrook at this point in his career can't do that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I
think that's what the intentions were at the beginning of the season, you know, and probably going to this season as well. Like, yo, y'all take care of the regular season. Just get us home court, maybe 5 or 6 seed, and then you know what I'm saying, when y'all need me, knock on the door. You feel me?
Hopefully,
when the playoffs come around, then feel me, I'm gonna turn it to beast mode. But damn,
hopefully, this man was out fighting for his life as a averaging 30, year 19, and it's just kind of like LeBron is not the same type of LeBron either. Like LeBron James, you watch him play, it's just like, it's low block work, it's long threes. Like he doesn't have enough, like, he can still attack and get to the rim, which is his number one attribute his entire career, like his slashing ability. But he ain't tacking and getting to the rim when that paint is clogged. You know how sometimes it can be 2-3 defenders and he still getting to the rim he ain't doing that no more.
Nasty.
You know what I'm saying? He not doing that no more. So this is a whole new LeBron. So it's just like, they expect LeBron James. That's what we saw this year. Damn, LeBron James got 40? They still lost? It's like, damn, what the hell going on? He dropped 50 and it was a close? Like, you looking around like, damn, LeBron James like putting these heroic efforts in, like, losing. He was like Bradley Beal a couple years ago with the Wizards this past season. Remember when Brad was dropping like 50 and 50 and 50? It was just losing.
Yeah, but I think the emotions towards, you know, those great performances were a little different. Because when you looked at Brad do it, you like, oh shit, Brad done did it again. Well, we know the rest of y'all just, you know, there to vibe and watch. It is what it is. But then with the Lakers, it's like, damn, I know y'all see, you know, no shade to Bron, but this older, young, you know, fella doing all this, it's like, damn, don't nobody want to say, like, don't worry about it, Bron, we got you. Or don't worry about it, you know, I'm a chip in 12 here, 17 or whatever on this night. Y'all just watching, bro, man, just struggle to lead or take the team to the damn promised land, what he shouldn't be doing. Like, now, I think Bradley, the expectations are a little bit different. Brad is like, hey, this is what you kind of signed up for, player. This,
all-time bag chaser.
Yeah, you should have known this is on the way. But Bron is like, damn, I know this is not what you thought was finna happen.
But it also, like, LeBron
But you gotta
James,
do what you gotta do, man.
For your
Shout out to Bradley Bill.
For your credit though, too, about like the whole, like, even if they don't get Kyrie Irving, or, you know, they got to run it back with the trio, I get what you say. It's really no excuses, because there's really no excuses. It's the only thing is like health. It's up to LeBron and Anthony, because I know Russell Westbrook gonna beat her. Knock on wood, like, you know, Russell Westbrook is a durable player. Like, he's had his moments and stuff being hurt, but he normally shows up and plays. Now, I will say, it's hard to, like, it's almost like, yo, if they don't get Kyrie and they got to run it back, I'm still interested to see what happens with this Los Angeles Lakers team, because, like, if they can all play together, like you said, to your point, and you can figure out, like, what are the actual roles, because Russ was kind of thrown in. It was just like sometimes he can't, like we said, he came to play the third option, but damn, he had to play the second option. He had to play the first option. He didn't know like what's like. He was just out there just vibing. You know what I'm saying? Like you just out there vibing some days. Like 1 minute you supposed to be this version of Russ, 1 minute you supposed to be the third option. LeBron playing today. Oh, LeBron's out now. It's just you. So it's just like it would be nice if everybody can be healthy if they all running back. But like if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, I don't care what the Nets want. If they want 2 first-round picks, they want 3 first-round picks. I understand, like, the Kyrie Irving situation, and the Lakers have to do their due diligence and kind of make sure that, like, you know, Kyrie Irving's going to, like, be, you know, commit for a long term and stuff like that and be available and stuff like that. But, bro, it's Kyrie Irving. We did that segment last week. Like, it's not many it's not even point guards in general. Point guards, shooting guards, and I'm really taking over Kyrie Irving. You got Steph, and it's just like, for the point guard situation, you got Steph. Maybe Dame to some people like you, but that's it, really. That's it.
I don't think, like, I don't think this is just a talent conversation or a skill thing or would it work. I think, a lot of people are past that and low-key have accepted, like, okay, cool. They've obviously won the championship. Right now, it's an availability thing. Right now, I think a lot of people have questions like, all right, is Kyrie 100% basketball? I don't have those questions. I would love to see Kyrie Irving in a Lakers uniform and team up with LeBron James and then obviously throw Anthony Davis in the mix and, hey, it's time to party. You know what I'm saying? But that's just $1 million question, right? Where is Kyrie at from a straight up basketball standpoint? You know, and again,
I think that's overrated though too. I understand
agree,
it, though.
But
I understand it.
I agree. Yeah, but I agree. But at the same time, you know, it is a business. And we always say this, but like your best ability is your availability. And even though Kyrie is great and all that, if there's some fans that wonder, is he going to play? Is he going to be all there? I think he will. Right? I think, you know, you toss Kyrie in a situation where like, all right, it's new. He's in LA. He's back with Bron. You know, he's ready to go. It'll be a new environment.
And also, he can run the show. What better show than to run than Los Angeles Lakers? Like, what better show to run? The best showman in basketball, what better show to run than the Los Angeles Lakers? And LeBron would say, here.
Yeah, but I say, come on over, Kyrie. We welcome you with open arms.
Here, Kyrie. Just go.
You know. But also, too, I mean, it sucks because in the grand scheme of this, even though a lot of Laker fans want Kyrie to go to the Lakers, I'm also tired of seeing Russell Westbrook get tossed to the side. You know, with all these trades and stuff like that, it sucks to have a top 25 player, MVP player, a guy who showed up in the NBA Finals before. And I know this was, you know, all years ago and stuff, but still, man, I don't think Russ kind of deserves this criticism / to be treated the way he has. You know, like we judge players so often for like, you know, being lazy. Right, we judge players so often for not being loyal, but like if you really think about it, Russ is probably one of few players in NBA history who has shown up to every game that he's, you know, has played in, and on top of that, hasn't really talked down on organization and hasn't really requested a trade the way other players have in the past. And it's crazy because if there's anyone who should probably be doing that, it's Russ. Right, the way his name has been tossed around in media, is Russell Westbrook this? Is he that? Should he be traded? You would think that if there's anyone who should come out and say, you know what, word, get me out of here, it's Russ. But he hasn't done that. That's my 2 cents on Russ, man.
Yeah, that's just testament to his character, the person he is and stuff like that. It does suck, but it just sucks because the game is a game. You realize that,
but
not everybody's going to win a championship.
You know what? I'm happy for bro, man, at the end of the day because he definitely did opt into that contract. So that bag has been secured. I'm not even mad at you, player. Run it up.
Yeah.
Who cares what everybody was saying? That contract has been signed, and you know.
And he's one. I hate to say it. It's just like he's gonna be one of those players we look back like that was so iconic. Where you're gonna look back on it similar to people look back on like Allen Iverson. You're gonna look back the same with Russell Westbrook. You're gonna be like, yeah, you know, it would have been nice if they would have won a championship, but their greatness is kind of gonna overcome that, I believe.
Sad but true. Yeah. before we slide, y'all,
Who knows?
of course,
And like we said, we talk about like his own. Who knows? They can run it back with the Lakers. We don't know. But
we don't know. I'm not.
You never
I'm
know.
not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath.
No
We'll
predictions.
see.
No predictions.
Nah, yeah, I got to see the full roster. But yeah, you already know housekeeping items. Make sure you subscribe to No Pump Fakes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Feel free to give that 5-star rating. All right, just like that, y'all. We gone. Peace.
It's your boy, My K Smith, also known as AK. Make sure you guys go follow No Pump Fakes wherever you get your podcasts.